What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. First thing today is we're going to jump on this 1985 200X. It's got a fresh top end, Wiseco 12-to-1, and it's running pretty decent, but it's got a bog at the top end. So I believe we're going to try to stick a little bigger size jet in it and see what we can get out of it. So we'll jump right on this. It shouldn't take but a few minutes, so let's see what we can do. All right, first step, turn the fuel off. It's already off. Pop that fuel line off. I don't keep the gas tank bolts in while I'm doing this because I already know that it's going to be coming off and on until I get this right. And don't mind my leaking petcock there. I need to do something with that. Next thing to do, I'm going to take these two, knock these loose. This right here is definitely not a factory. I had to do this because this is a bigger carburetor on it than what comes factory. This is a 28mm carburetor. Factory would be 26mm carburetor. So the OEM intake boot is not gonna connect to this. So all I did was just put a piece of plastic pipe in there, cut this here, run a hose clamp there and there, and it does the job for me. That might not be acceptable to some people who are a little bit more curious, but for me it's fine. And unscrew your throttle cable from the top here. You can do this after you pull the carburetor off, but I just assume go ahead and get it out of the way. All right, be careful when you do this to put this somewhere where this is not going to get bent. That's pretty important. Now let's see if I can't slide this rubber boot off out of the way with one hand. There we go. Again, that right there, just something I come up with. There's better ideas out there, and I've seen a whole lot prettier work, but I realize that this whole entire thing is not perfect. But this is just what I've come up with. It works for me, so it is what it is. Got a 10mm nut on each side of the carburetor. So take them off. We have one there. One right there. A little more aggravating to get to this one. Couple of turns, we'll see if we can't get it with our finger. All right, there's the other stud there. All right, now let's get this carburetor out of here. As many times as I've done this, I can't never remember how it comes out. There's only one way in and one way out. All right, there it is. This is not a OEM Honda carburetor. This is a carburetor that's made by Niche. People say they have bad luck with these Chinese carburetors, but I think this is a quote-unquote better option out of all of them. So, and again, I've had no problems with it. We're just getting it tuned in now, but I mean, it runs great. And I've had one on that XR200 for over a year now with no problems. Still cranks up, still idles. I haven't had to adjust anything on it, so I like them. So say what you will about them, but I believe this brand is, I think you're safe with this one. But let's get this on the bench and get it open and swap a jet out. All right, got the carburetor up here on the bench. There's $100 worth of fuel running out all over the place. So first step, get it up on the bench. And you got 3 screws to do. I cannot do this while I'm holding my phone. But you got a screw here, a screw here, and a screw there. So I'm gonna knock these off real quick and we'll come back and get it open. All right, got those 3 screws out. Let's open it up here. Be careful when you take this off. All right, there's the inside. Everything's pretty clean in there. And there's the inside of your carburetor. This right here is your main jet. There's your idle jet. And that's going to be your air fuel screw. Right now, we're just going to focus on this main jet. Right now, I don't know if I can get it focused for y'all to see, but there is a 115 in there. Oh. Either way, there's a 115 in there. There was a 125 in it. I went down just so that way I figured it might be running a little rich, but it's not. So we're gonna go back to, this is a 115. There was a 125. We're gonna go all the way up to a 135 and see if we can go the other direction and see if we can't get something out of it. Again, I'm sorry I can't do this with one hand, but flathead screwdriver on top, and that will unthread. And I've got this, you can order this thing of jets off Amazon or eBay, whatever, like 30 bucks for a whole different bunch of jet sizes. So that's what we're using, and I'll get right back to you. All right, got that main jet swapped out. If you can see that one, 135. I'll just sit your bowl back on here. Put them 3 screws back in. That's the old jet. And we'll get it stuck back in there. So give me 1 second and we'll get back to the bike. All right. So I'll try to get this back on here. And it's gonna go in something. Fuel lines mounted up over there on something. There we go. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. I have done this like 150,000 times. So I'll tell you more about it in another video, but I have rebuilt this bike frame off more than once. So I believe our fuel line is, there we go. All right, now just get your 10mm nut on that side and that side, and we'll come right back. All right, got both of our nuts on. Hose clamp tightened back up. We'll stick our throttle cable back in. And this slot lines up. You're probably not gonna be able to see it, but there is a notch down there. And you stick this down in there. It should drop all the way in there. And just thread this. Trying to do this with one hand is proving to be difficult. There we go. Okay. All right. I believe we can get a fuel tank on and give it a test fire and see what we can get. All right, got the fuel turned on. And while I give that a second for the fuel to get down to the carburetor, just so y'all know, I know this is not a perfect build. I'm not a perfect mechanic. So, you know, if you see something I'm doing that you may think is not perfect, well, it just is what it is. I'm not Eli Tomac's professional mechanic. I know just enough to be dangerous. However, I have put this and several more together from the frame up, and they do ride. So this actually has raced before on a flat track TT racing. But anyway, let's get to cranking it. Put some choke on. Alright. Roll it over a couple of times. Oh, she tried. All right, he should have cranked by now. Let me look at everything and come back. All right, so it turned out I cut this little piece right here off the fuel line. It looked like the fuel line was actually going up, so I don't believe we're getting any fuel. So I'll turn it on now. Should be getting some fuel. Let's try that again. Nope. There it is. I've only got it on half choke. Let's try, see if it wants full choke. All right, normally this thing is not this hard to crank. I don't know why it's being stubborn today. Let me take a look around and I'll come back and let you know what I figure out. All right, y'all, so it seemed like it just needed a little bit of idle, or the idle was a little bit too low for it. So it sounds like right now it's a little bit rich, but got that Wiseco piston in it, so we're gonna let it warm up for a couple more minutes. I'm gonna take it around the yard real quick and see where we're at, and we'll come back and see from there. I just don't think that there's any way it needs a whole lot more fuel than that 135. So we'll think about it tonight and we'll get on it. Please excuse the crappy filming. I'm still filming with my phone and trying to do all this one-handed while you're holding the phone. It's not fun. But thank y'all for watching. If you don't mind, give me a subscribe. We're just starting out, so there'll be a lot of good stuff in the future. This is something you'll see real soon. I've got parts in for it, so to get started on it, putting a 13 horsepower Predator motor in there. So that'll be something you'll be seeing real soon. XR200, be talking about that some. There's always stuff to do on that. Big Red, definitely some riding videos. That thing never needs anything. It's just ready to go all the time. So probably won't see a whole lot of work on that, but definitely some riding videos to come with that. So be a lot of stuff to talk about in the future. Talk about, work on, do, and do some riding. So this thing right here has been a headache for the years I've had it. I swear it's just never been 100% right. But we'll get it. So we'll get there. If y'all have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. And we'll see you next time. We're out.